Alright Ian, welcome back guys and girls. So it's Halloween. The spooky season is here, and today I did think, after hearing from a few of my viewers about some concept ideas I have, let's do it. So I haven't done a concept for a while, and although it does look like the next chapter is going to be an original character, so it's not going to be none of the characters I speak about. However, all the possibilities are they could be here in the future. Could these characters be making an appearance in Dead by Daylight in 2021? Anytime after that? Let's go through them and find out. Okay, so today you have been spoilt with 3 concepts. I've had to make them slightly shorter than usual, but it was to fit all 3 in. After all, it is Halloween, so hopefully you still enjoy the concept. The first character is none other than Mr. Pinhead. If you're not aware of who Pinhead is, he comes from the Hellraiser films and is one of the main antagonists on it. Pinhead has been rumoured so many times, and he does come from a classic franchise, so he's not going to look out of place in Dead by Daylight whatsoever. Let's see what Pinhead would all be about. So we will take a look at his basic stats first. Now his basic attributes, he's got a normal speed of 4.6 meters per second, he's got a standard 32 meter radius, he is a tall character, he's a tall character in the movies, so that would be his basic attributes. He would be called a Cenobite. Now that's just the name of the characters in the film, and he is from the Dead by Daylight Hellraiser chapter. His powers, let's take a look at them. His main powers is called Lament Configuration. Again, if you're not sure what that's all about and you are over the age of 18, then get the film watched and understand what it means. They are good films, might not have stood the test of time, but they are certainly good films. With this power, he has 2 abilities. So he's got Hell's Descent. So at the start of the trial, no hooks will spawn on the map. Pinhead is able to create chained hooks that will descend from the sky when he is carrying the survivor. So he's already injured and got him in a dying state. If another survivor's underneath a hook spawn point when you're going to get the chains down and the hook descends, they will also be instantly hooked as well. Chain hooks can be sabotaged. If a survivor is rescuing a hook survivor, then they will not be affected by the hooks descending or ascending. So his second power, his special ability, are the hooks of torture. So survivors will passively gain guilt throughout the trial. Guilt has 4 stages, and each stage will grant the killer more ability. So stage 1, the killer is able to throw a hook into the ground to block a survivor's path. Stage 2, the Cenobite is able to attach a hook onto a pallet. This is going to temporarily disable the pallet and the survivors won't be able to use it. Stage 3, the Cenobite will gain traps that can be placed around the map. When a survivor is within 3 meters of these traps, they'll activate and throw a chained hook towards the survivor, holding them in place. Stage 4, this is going to allow Pinhead to use a range hook attack to bring a survivor back to them during chases. You might think that all sounds familiar. Yes, a bit like Deathslinger. Guilt is increased every time a survivor, we've put on there every time a survivor is hooked, but it's actually every time a survivor is sacrificed. With them being hooked, it would have been 2 powered. So the whole idea of Pinhead is that he plays more towards endgame. So early game pressure is going to be difficult, and as you get better and better during the game, as you get more and more sacrifices, your powers will increase. Now it's in the survivor's interest to look after each other. That was decided with Pinhead, and I think it fits really well with his character. So let's have a look at his perks. So his first perk is called the Torture Addiction. You have been accustomed to being tortured, so after being stunned by any means 6, 5 or 4 times, depends on the add-on tier, the perk tier, the next survivor you hook will have the hook timer run 30% faster. Bit game breaking, but it makes sense. It again encourages team play there and encourages people to look and be aware of what's going on around them. His second perk is called Mental Guilt. So mental guilt, you let your victims hurt themselves before you inflict the real pain. So if a survivor is within 10 meters of another survivor who is being sacrificed, they will have a 25% rebuff in generator repair speed. So their repair speed is going to increase by up to 25%. This accounts only for them being within 10 meters of another survivor who is on a hook. Alright, so far so good. And his final perk is called Hooks of Pain. So those who believe that you can be stopped pay for their delusional views. If a survivor finishes a sabotage action within 5 meters of you, the hook won't be sabotaged and will expose a survivor for 2, 3 or 4 seconds. This stops the sabotaging on there, so again fits in quite well with Pinhead lore. You know, people who believe he can be stopped, no, it's not going to happen. To bring it into the game, it's taking part with the sabotage action on the hooks. Alright, so what do you think, guys? Drop me a comment below, join my Discord, let me know what you think. That was character number 1. I certainly think Pinhead would be a great character for the game, but I am familiar with the film, so if you're not, you might not know what all the fuss is about. Okay, so we've got contender number 2, and that is Laura from the Evil Within games. We have had crossovers before from games such as Bill and the Silent Hill chapter, so it's always possible. So who is Laura? Laura is one of the antagonists in the game Evil Within and does have a lot of scary features that could be incorporated in the game. So let's discuss what she's all about. So her attributes, same as Pinhead, she's got a standard speed and standard terror radius. She's average height, so she's a bit shorter. Her main power would be called Laura's Anguish. The reason behind that was reading into her lore a bit from the other game. Her backstory does have this sort of anguish in it, and her powers would certainly fit in Dead by Daylight, and they might seem familiar to some existing killers. First power, she's got 3 special powers. One is Corpse's Surprise, so Laura has the ability to place up to 5 corpses around the map during trial. I know it sounds a bit sick, doesn't it? These corpses cannot be interacted by the survivors, so no survivor can remove them, get rid of them or anything. The corpses allows Laura the ability to teleport from one to another, so she can put a corpse down and teleport, a bit like the Demogorgon. If a survivor stands within 8 meters of a corpse, Laura will be notified and the survivor will suffer from the oblivious state, so there'll just be a notification to tell you that someone is near your corpse. The second power is a corrupted corpse. Now Laura can place 2 of these around the map, so 2 out of the 5. By pressing the ability button, once placed the corpse becomes corrupted. This allows any survivor within 6 meters to be frozen in the ground for 5 seconds. Teleporting to this corpse is going to free that survivor from the frozen state. You have a choice. If you're near another corpse and you want it to transport or teleport over, then you can do that, but it's going to free the survivor from that status. Otherwise the survivor will be stuck there for 5 seconds. Now, Laura's special ability is called Laura Reborn. You have the ability to collect fear from the survivors. You can collect fear by pressing the secondary ability button whilst the survivor is in your terror radius. So each time you collect fear, Laura will reveal her location by performing a loud screech. When you have filled up the fear bar, you can change into a ferocious creature and your speed will increase from 4.4 meters. So we are going to reduce the speed, actually. I know I've mentioned it's going to be 4.6, it's actually going to be 4.4 to 7.8 meters per second. 7.8 meters a second sounds a lot. It's like the Oni in his dash. All survivors will become exposed for the full duration of these powers, which is 60 seconds. Alright, so she has a bit of an Oni dash here, and she will change into this terrifying creature and follow you, chasing you around the map. Let's have a look at a 3 teachable perks. So perk number 1 is called Omniscient Hunter. You have learned to foresee the battles ahead, so after hooking a survivor, you have the powers to reveal one of the survivor perks for 3, 4, 5 seconds. That's actually quite interesting, so you can actually look and see what perks that survivor is running, only one of them, for a certain length of time. So again, quite different to what's out there, but I think would be interesting. Her second perk is called Thirsty Butcher. So your rage fills you with a burning desire to succeed. So after a generator is completed, you gain a 15% speed buff for all actions for 15, 20 and 25 seconds. Again, if you're not aware of my concepts, of different colours are for the different tiers you have the perk on. Her final perk, teachable perk, is called the Entity's Brain. You are able to channel the Entity's thoughts to help you in the hunt. Survivors within 1, 2, 3 meters of a pallet will have their auras revealed within 64 meters of your location. Again, just a bit of information, just a bit of tracking information that you can use there. Now, I did have to scratch my head a lot with the perks for this character. We'll thank T-Rex, who was a long time viewer on the channel, for his creativity with these perks. He had these perks as standard perks, but I thought they could fit in with a lot of the killers. Finally, we have our last killer. Now, who is that going to be? If you are familiar with the game called Among Us, you might be familiar with a character called the Imposter. So who is the Imposter? Well, the Imposter we don't know much about. All we know that he is a shape-shifting parasite that invades a host body and causes chaos and disruption wherever possible. The Imposter was on board a spaceship after taking over an astronaut's body, and its main focus was to make sure that spaceship never made it home. Somehow, in amongst all this backstory, the Imposter was sucked into the realm of the Entity and is now doing the work on Dead by Daylight. Let's have a look at the Imposter. So the Imposter's attribute, he would have a 4.6 meters per second speed. He's got a smaller terror radius, but I'm going to speak about that a little bit more. And he is short. Now, he's called the Imposter, and he's from the Among Us chapter. So any of you Among Us fans out there, let me know what you think of these perks and powers. Do they fit in with his lore, with how he is in the game? Okay, so his power is called the Art of Suspicion. The Imposter is a sly killer and able to tamper with the survivor's objectives. This is sometimes fatal, so when all survivors are alive, the Imposter is undetectable. When a number of survivors drop, then so does his status. So when there is 3 survivors, his terror radius is going to increase to 8 meters. 2 survivors, 16 meters, and when there's only 1 survivor, his terror radius goes up to 24 meters for the remainder of that trial. His second ability is Sabotage, so the Imposter can sabotage in a trial in 4 different ways. So when you're holding the active ability button on a non-repaired generator, the generator will rapidly start to regress. The generator will regress to 0 within 30 seconds. If you perform this as the Imposter, then only 1 survivor is going to see the aura of that generator, and will have to go and stop this before the timer reduces to 0, if they choose to do that. Sabotage number 2, so you're holding the ability button on a repaired generator, will switch off the lights around it, and the area will be in complete darkness, and survivors within 20 meters are going to be afflicted with the blindness status. Where the repaired gens are, there's normally light, but that area is just going to all of a sudden go dark if the Imposter tampers with a repaired generator. Sabotage number 3, the Imposter can place cameras on hooks throughout the trial. Now, the cameras aren't going to be real cameras, so it's just to fit in with the game style, but what the cameras are going to do is if there's a survivor within 8 meters, it's going to give you a notification to let you know that someone's in that area. Again, another tracking perk that can be used on a number of different killers. The Imposter can only place up 4 cameras during a trial though. You can get some information, but you can only do it in 4 spots, so pick your spots wisely. Alright, so let's have a look at his perks. So the Imposter's perks, the first one will be called Vital Deterioration. So survivors' vital signs start to dwindle when the weapon of choice pierces through them. So after you hit a survivor, the screen will start to fade into darkness. Once their screen is fully dark, other survivors will only be seen within a 5 meter range. This effect will stay on a survivor for 20 seconds, and Vital Deterioration has a cooldown of 60, 50 and 40 seconds. His next perk is called Biological Ventilation. So each breath may be their last, so when a survivor is hit by a basic attack, that survivor will become exhausted for 40, 50 and 60 seconds. This is to counter the likes of Dead Hard and things like that. Once you hit them, they're going to not be able to use their exhaust perks to escape you. Finally, his last perk is called Someone Among Us. So you're close, but how close? So the furthest 3 generators from you will cause complete darkness within 20 meters of the generator location. This effect lasts for 80, 100, 120 seconds. A little bit of a play on corrupt intervention, but the survivors won't be able to see that part of the map, so they can walk into it, but it's going to be pitch black. Survivors within this range will suffer from the oblivious status as well, so not only will they be in darkness, they will also have the oblivious status, so they're not going to know pretty much what's going on. And that's that. So that's his 3 teachable perks, his powers. So what do you think, guys? Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I would love to hear some of your feedback on it, whether it's good or bad. If it is bad, don't just dislike it, don't just give me grief on the comments, you know, be constructive. Let me know what I've done wrong, what you'd change, and as I say, feel free to put it in the comments below, or you can put it in my Discord server, and the invitation for that is just in the description. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a like, and if you haven't already done so, guys, then please check out the rest of my channel and subscribe to it. Click that notification bell, it's completely free of charge, but that will update you when I release any more new videos. Alright, thanks guys.